And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Greetings, I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan, and here is your Alaska aviation weather outlook for this weekend. This video is from Friday, March 29th. And looking at the weather maps, we got a couple things going on. Two storm systems I've been talking about. The first one has come up around Nunavik Island, Etolan Strait, and will continue to weaken as we go through this Friday afternoon and evening. Areas of light to moderate precipitation and gusty winds will continue. We expect IFR conditions along the lower middle Yukon Valley back out over toward St. Matthew. And then we have a broad area of IFR conditions along the Gulf Coast associated with a frontal system that it's going to work its way eastward through this afternoon and evening before weakening. The main weather system, storm number 2, is a low that's going to come out of the North Pacific, come across the Alaska Peninsula, splitting into two pieces. Some energy going up Shelikof Strait and Cook Inlet, and another piece hanging back here over the southwest interior. These systems are going to bring moderate to heavy rain along coastal areas, and then for the southwest and interior and any areas with some elevation in through the mountains and extending up into the interior, we'll pick up some moderate to heavy snowfall along with strong gusty winds. The system will produce gale to at least storm force gusts along areas of the Gulf Coast. And also we have high wind potential for area along Anchorage Hillside, as well as up along parts of the central Alaska Range. So keep that in mind as conditions will be deteriorating by Saturday afternoon. We have a broad area of IFR conditions across the northern, northwestern portion of the Gulf, including all areas around Cook Inlet, the central west arm of the Alaska Range into the northern half of the Alaska Peninsula, and also an area of IFR from near Nome extending out towards St. Matthew all the way to just north of the central Aleutians. But this area here will have some of the heaviest precipitation along with the strongest, gustiest winds, lower ceilings, potential for at least some moderate icing. And by Sunday morning, as the low continues tracking northeastward, we have one system lagging back here where the snow will be spreading northeastward up through the central interior. We'll also have snow in through the Copper River Basin. And with the front that's working eastward, we do expect Sunday morning IFR conditions spreading eastward across the northeastern Gulf. Yakutat in through the northern panhandle. There could be some accumulating snow, northern panhandle, and especially along a little higher elevations above sea level here along the inner coastal mountains of the southeast. And for Sunday afternoon, widespread IFR conditions cover a good portion of the mainland. And we expect areas up through the Yukon Valley, Brooks Range, all up to the North Slope and Arctic coast to be impacted there, with lower ceilings and areas of snow. But we also have IFR conditions Sunday afternoon lingering along areas of the Gulf Coast from Prince William Sound all the way into the northern central panhandle. And also some areas there, as some colder air comes in behind this low, we're going to have IFR conditions there across the Alaska Peninsula moving up toward Homer. So Saturday, Anaktuvik Pass up there in the east central Brooks Range. We're looking at VFR conditions at Anaktuvik and Adigan passes, at least for Saturday, but conditions there will become IFR as we get into Sunday. And Lake Clark and Merrill, IFR socked in there. We have the one front working through today, and then the next bigger, stronger low that's going to have wind and more moisture with it. So not good conditions there. Rainy Pass will become IFR, as will Windy Pass on Saturday as that moisture streams northward. And for Isabel Pass, we anticipate VFR conditions Saturday morning, giving way to MVFR conditions. Further east, same thing, Mentasta Pass there in the far end of the Alaska Range, VFR becoming MVFR. As we go further southwest, Tanita Pass, we'll see MVFR conditions become IFR with that potential there for moderate to heavy snow developing in areas of the Copper River Basin. Then down along the Gulf Coast, eastern Prince William Sound, Portage Pass, IFR, or at least MVFR through the central western portion of Portage Pass. That'll become IFR Saturday afternoon and certainly by Saturday evening. Chilkoot and White, MVFR conditions should at least hold during the day on Saturday, but late Saturday night and into Sunday morning, IFR will come in with accumulating snow, lower ceilings, and some gusty winds. So what's setting up here is that we have the one low, at least as of Friday midday, sitting over this region along the southwest coast. That feature will weaken, and then we're going to have a second stronger low with more moisture come out of the North Pacific. It's going to split. We expect one area to ride up Shelikof Strait, Cook Inlet, another to kind of pull back west of the Alaska Range over the southwest interior. This will be the colder portion of the system with moderate and heavy snow there. The energetic piece coming up here along Cook Inlet will have strong gusty winds, warmer temperatures. We see as of Saturday morning, freezing levels aloft will be rising throughout the day and expanding up across areas of the southern mainland as a result of the transport with the southeast south winds ahead of this system. So we expect higher freezing levels there out over the Gulf, and those will expand northward across the mainland. As a result, where there is precipitation, thicker cloud cover, more moisture, widespread moderate icing is likely across much of the southwest, the central western Alaska Range, areas of the northern western Gulf, including parts of the Kenai and around Kodiak Island. So generally above 2,000 feet in the snow-producing clouds here in the southwest, above 5,000 feet along the northwest Gulf Coast. And as you get toward the lower Gulf, where the freezing levels aloft are higher, we don't anticipate issues until you get above 8,000 feet with icing. And there's a very strong, look at this, what we call anticyclonically curved jet stream because of this ridge. Call the ridge, that flow is anticyclonic, but we have core winds of 130 to 140, 45 miles an hour coming right up along the western Gulf into south central, and then curving up through the middle upper Yukon Valley and back out across northwest Canada. The trough, the primary upper level trough, is back here across the eastern Bering. And so that's a setup for a pretty strong storm. Look at these winds at 9,000 feet or 700 millibars, 50 to as high as 75, 80 knots, especially as you get into the southwestern Gulf into the North Pacific. And this is all lifting, these winds are lifting northward in a broad belt of winds, mid-level winds, 35, 40 knots there across the Bering Sea and Aleutians. At 3,000 feet, we find on Saturday there will be strong winds coming there along like Cape Suckling, Kayak Island into Hinchinbrook entrance. Out ahead of that front, a broad area of 50-knot winds across the western, southwestern, central Gulf. And then also some strong winds along the eastern Russia coastline through the Bering Strait along the west side of the Seward Peninsula into St. Lawrence Island. And this all translates to the likelihood of moderate to even isolated severe turbulence. So let's first start here back along the Bering Strait to St. Lawrence Island, moderate turbulence. There could even be some isolated severe turbulence there, surface to 3,000 feet. And then a broad area of just isolated moderate turbulence across the central Bering into the eastern half of the Aleutians. But with that second low, there is a core of stronger winds that will be traversing this area of the North Pacific up to just off of Kodiak Island Saturday afternoon. That will expand further north and northeastward as we go through Saturday night and Sunday. But nevertheless, the likelihood of moderate, at least moderate turbulence, and maybe even some isolated severe turbulence here along the northern Gulf from around Cape Suckling back toward Prince William Sound. Also here the entrance of Cook Inlet, Kamishak Bay back toward Iliamna, Lake Iliamna. And then a likely area of strong winds with a greater potential for severe turbulence just along the southeast side of Kodiak Island and there southward into the North Pacific.